Hi team, happy Sunday and welcome to another stretch and reset. I apologise in advance if there is a small dog that interrupts this class. Today I've got no doggy care, so Bamboo is currently sat with some peanut butter. I'm hoping she just stays there for the whole time, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Apologies if a small puppy runs in. But yes, I'm very excited to take you through a lovely class today. We've got some core stretching, we've got some hip flexor stretching, we've got a little bit of everything really. So the playlist is in the chat. So grab that up now if you're using the playlist and just ping it on from the start. Make sure that you're not on shuffle as well. And when you're ready, just head on over to the mat for me and I will meet you there. Just got Abby joining as well. Give her a second to join. Once we're on that mat, just a little reminder of things that you will need for today. So make sure you've got a cushion nearby and also make sure that you've got a resistance band or a dressing gown tie or a pair of tights or anything you can use as a little lever today as well. That's all you're going to need. So we're going to start off just by coming into this cross-legged position for me. Hands down onto the knees. And just closing the eyes down, maybe taking your first restful moment of the weekend. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And slowly continuing on that cycle in your own time. Just slowing down that breathing rate, any excitement from the day, and just calming that body, ready for this evening's stretch. All together, one final deep breath in through the nose and sighing it out through the mouth. Lifting that chest as high as you can, shoulders rolling back and down. We're going to start today by taking the right hand out to the side, left hand comes up over the top and stretching through into those obliques. Now you might feel this going all the way up into that arm as well, but you should feel a nice deep stretch from around the hip all the way up the side and beyond. If you'd like to, then just slowly increasing that depth from the right hand side and coming into that bend just a little bit more. And perhaps just tilt your head as well to look up towards the ceiling, to add in just a little bit more of a stretch. Remember that breathing slowly in and slowly out. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center for me. Just taking the left hand out to the side now. Right hand comes up and over into exactly the same on this right hand side. Again, nice focused deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and perhaps turning that gaze up towards the ceiling to just feel it a little bit more in those obliques all the way down the side. Great work, guys. We're going to be taking things very, very slow and deep today. A lot of hip stretching as requested. So we're going to be in a few stretches for quite a long time. Just a nice blissful end to the weekend and reset for the week ahead. Holding here for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting yourself slowly back up to center. You guys stay where you are. We're going to take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, take our shoulder blades together as close as we can, gaze up to the sky, lifting those hands as far as you can, just stretching across that chest. Again, breathing nice and deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you'd like to, slowly lowering that chest down towards the knees and lifting the arms up overhead. Only if that's comfortable for you today and where you'd like to take it. If you'd like to keep it in that upright position, then that is absolutely fine. Just closing the eyes down here, whether you're in the upright position or the forward leaned position, and staying here for 30 seconds or so. Well done, Abby. Nice, Emily. Great work, George. Again, just taking these moments to focus on that breathing. The chest rises as we breathe in through the nose. And the stomach as we breathe out through the mouth. If you're in that forward tilted position, just coming up to join us in the seated risen position here, holding for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center, interlinking those fingers in front of me now for you, and bringing them up overhead as we stretch up and through. I want you to think about that tailbone pushing down into the floor as you push those hands as far away from you as possible. Just a nice full body stretch here. In through that nose and out through the mouth. Releasing the hands down back to the knees, just bringing the chin to the chest, tucking, and just slowly some rocks of the chin from right, stretching through the neck, back to the left, and back to the right. Just a pendulum at your own pace. Perhaps you'd like to take the neck back and round as well, looking up towards the sky, clockwise, and then anti-clockwise. And when you're ready, just coming back to that chin on the chest position, lifting the hands, interlacing the fingers, and bringing them onto the back of the head, or perhaps looping your ponytail if you've got your hair up. Taking a nice deep breath in through the mouth, in through the nose. As we breathe out through the mouth, just applying a little bit of pressure to the back of the head. Imagining we've got a brick on each one of those shoulders as we stretch across those shoulder blades, holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself back up to center. Just bring those hands down to one side for me. Roll the knees under and coming into our tabletop position. Those knees directly underneath the hips, hands directly underneath the shoulder for me. You're going to take your left leg out to the side so that the inside of the foot is against the floor for me. I'm just going to turn around so you guys can see this a little bit better. So the inside of the foot is to the floor. You're then going to have one hand in front of you. Take the right hand up and open for me, rotating into that side before you feed it under, bringing the shoulder down to the floor. So we've got the left leg out to the side, stretching through that abductor and also stretching through that right shoulder as well for me. Now you may be comfortable just keeping this in a deep stretch, but if not, feel free to lift out and rotate open before moving back into another rep. That's absolutely fine if you'd like to keep this a little bit more active and mobile. And just think about sending that bum backwards a little bit for me. And even if it's just half a centimetre, that nudge backwards should help you feel a little bit more of that stretch. We're going to be staying here either in our active opening and pulling through, or in our deep stretch for another 30 seconds. Just keep that breathing nice and controlled. It can often be a little bit difficult to keep the breathing controlled when we're in a compressed position across the chest. But just focusing on in for 4 and out for 4 whilst we're in this position. Holding for me for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring yourself back up onto those hands. And now you're just going to swivel for me. So the left leg stays where it is. As you rotate around, swivel the knee underneath and bring the left leg onto the heel. So we're in a little bit up and we're going to now come into our hamstring stretch. So pointing the toes back towards the forehead as much as you can for me. We're going to start off by just gradually lowering ourselves and our chest down towards that thigh. Now, if you can't quite reach the floor, don't worry, just grab your cushion or a block and just use that as a little bit of a barrier as you move into this stretch. Try and avoid rounding through the shoulders. Try and keep that chest nice and strong. Remember those toes pointing back towards the forehead, and just with every exhale, moving a little bit further into that deep hamstring stretch. Lovely, guys, well done. Perhaps you need a little bit more mobility. If so, walk the hands forwards and then backwards if you need to. And if you feel ready at any point to let go of that block or cushion and come a little bit lower, then feel free to. Equally, if you get a little bit uncomfortable with how low you are and you want to come a bit higher, just slide that block or cushion back in, and that's absolutely no problem. Just focusing here and holding for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just bringing yourself now the weight back over the front foot, heel toe that left foot over to the right hand side of your mat, lowering the left knee down to the left hand side and coming into our first pigeon of today's class. You asked for hip opening, so you all knew it was coming. Up on those hands to begin with, just get yourself into that comfortable position. Once you're here, first thing I want you to think about is those glutes. Are we tensing our glutes? If we are, on that next exhale, just let that clench go and let those hips sink more closely towards the floor. If you're feeling ready and you would like to, then options here, of course, to lower. That might be on top of a cushion on the forearms. It might be all the way down onto the mat on the forearms, or it might be coming into a full rested pigeon. Wherever feels comfortable for you today. And with each inhale breath, I want you to imagine that the breath's coming in through the nose, down the windpipe, through the lungs, and all the way down to that left hip. And as you breathe out, imagining that you're sighing away that tension that was in the hip before, allowing you to sink just a little bit deeper into that hip stretch. Well done, guys, great work. We're going to be staying here for around another minute, so a really long, deep pigeon stretch today. Looking good, Emily, well done. Nice, Abby. Just check in with those glutes. Are we feeling any tension there? If so, next exhale, just let it go for me. Focusing on that breathing. Closing those eyes down if you haven't already. And holding for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully bring yourself back up onto those hands for me. Just going to tuck the toe on the right leg, lifting the knee off the floor, staying on your hands, Just some slow rock backs here into the calf, pushing your body weight back into the calf and then forwards, back and then forwards. Just feeling a little bit of a stretch through that calf muscle. If the depth feels good for you and you'd like to, then you can lower back into that pigeon and push through that calf at the same time, or you can keep it up and keep it more mobile, whatever you need today. And in 5, in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up onto those hands if you aren't already. We're just going to swivel ourselves around so that now we're on that left knee and the right leg is out to the side. So we're back in the position that we started in. Perfect. Just going to wait for everyone to get there. Fab. Hands go down to the floor. We open up to the left-hand side this time and feed that left arm underneath and through, stretching through that abductor and also that left shoulder as well. Inside of that right foot is down on the floor. And just think about pushing that bum back just a tiny little, teeny weeny little bit. And focusing on that breathing. Remember, if you'd like to stay in the more active version, lifting yourself up, opening through, and then feeding back again. Equally, if you'd like to stay in the depth version, that is absolutely fine. As I said last time, it can be quite difficult to breathe into the lungs where we're in this compressed position. So just try and lengthen the inhale that you're taking. If you've been taking inhales that are around 2 or 3 seconds, try and lengthen them to 4 or 5 seconds while we're just in this compression. Nice deep breathing, holding here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully lifting yourself back up onto those hands, swiveling around so that the right foot is in front of us and we're up on that left knee. Again, make sure you've got your cushion nearby in case you need it, and we're going to be lowering into our hamstring stretch now on the right hand leg. So slowly bringing that chest down towards the thigh, toes pointing back towards that forehead, hands come either down to the floor or up onto your cushions either side. And just gradually start to soften that breathing, and slowly with each exhale, leaning yourself just a little bit further into that hamstring. Hamstrings can be one of the most uncomfortable places to stretch. Often it feels very intense very, very quickly. So if you need to lift yourself out and back in, then please feel free to do so. Remember, these sessions are all about working through at a pace that is right for you today. So if you need to back out at any point, then feel free to do so. Equally, if you're ready to take it a little bit further, on your next exhale, just lowering a tiny bit more towards that leg for me. Pointing those toes back towards the forehead and holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting your cushion out the way for me, slowly bringing the weight over onto that front foot, heel toe the right foot over to the left hand side of the mat, knee comes down to the right hand side, and lowering into our pigeon on this side for me. Again, either up on those hands if you're comfortable there, or down on that cushion, or all the way down on that floor. Wherever feels right for you is absolutely fine. A little reminder on letting go of any tension through those glutes, but also any tension you might be feeling anywhere else, across the forehead, across the shoulders, across the lower back. Perhaps there's tension in your breathing. Just sinking lower and lower into that pigeon. Closing the eyes down. If you wish to, you're going to be staying here for around another 60 seconds. A nice deep hip opener today. Nice, George. Well done, Abby. Good work, Emily. Just check in with yourself again. Are we holding any tension? On the next exhale, let it go. Keeping that breathing going for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lifting yourself back up onto those hands, just as we did on the other side. We're going to tuck the left toes here, lifting the knee off the floor and just working back again into that calf. If you wish to come back down into the pigeon and push from there, that's absolutely fine, but we're just rocking backwards into that calf and forwards over the hips. Stretching nice and slowly through any tightness that we might be feeling. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that knee down for me. Bring yourself back onto those hands and just swivel yourself onto the bum, bringing the feet together, the soles of the feet together and facing back towards center. Perfect. We're just going to take the hands, place them onto the ankles on both feet. Just give yourself a bit of a wiggle on the bum so that you get nice and comfy. Often the first time we sit down, it feels a bit weird. We're slowly going to be lowering that chest down towards the feet, but at the same time, we're using the elbows to push those knees just really gently and stretch through that groin area. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Try not to hold any tension around the shoulders. If you feel like maybe you've gone too far, just lift it back up and lower yourself back in. If you'll find it easier, feel free to use the hands to apply pressure to the knees instead, but just try and be a little bit careful you aren't too forceful too quickly. Continuing that nice deep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lifting yourself back up. Keep the right foot where it is for me. Take the left foot out to one side and then just shuffle that right foot in so that the sole of the foot comes to the inside of the thigh. Perfect. When you're ready, we're just going to pop the hands down in front of us, and all we're going to do is slowly walk those hands forward one by one until we reach a position where we can start to feel a really nice deep stretch down the lower back and also on the inside of that left thigh as well. Think about sending that bum and tailbone really deep into the floor, and think about sending yourself pushing through those hands as well, and that should just give you a little bit more oomph to the stretch. Nice work. Breathing in and out. If you can, even if it's a millimeter, just a tiny bit further. Holding for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Not coming up, just slowly walking those hands over towards the left leg as we come down into a hamstring stretch on this side. So pointing the toes up towards the forehead and just lowering that chest over the right leg. If you need to lift yourself a little bit higher, that's absolutely fine. Keeping that breathing going. Hopefully those hamstrings are feeling a little bit more loved than they were in our first hamstring stretch now. On your next exhale, just giving it a little bit more of a lower if you wish to. Holding for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully pop the hands to the floor and slowly lifting yourself back up to center, bringing the soles of the feet back together again. We're just going to meet again in our groin stretch. So just a little bit of a counter stretch from what we've just been doing. Probably a little bit more active than you were last time, just shaking the legs from left to right and just giving them a little bit of a stretch out. When you're ready, taking the right leg out to the side, bringing the left foot in towards the right thigh. Perfect. Hands come out in front of us and slowly walking those hands down and in front as we start to feel that stretch down the inside of the right thigh. Just as on the other side, try and send that tailbone back towards the floor as you push through the hands. And with each exhale, just slide yourself maybe a millimetre further forwards or maybe a millimetre closer down towards the floor. Try not to hold any tension in the shoulders. If that means that you need to widen the hands slightly, then that's absolutely fine. Well done. Nice work, guys. Keep that breathing going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly walking those hands towards the right leg, pointing the toes back towards the forehead as we come into our hamstring stretch on this right hand side. Loosening any tension through the knee. And remember, if you need to lift yourself up a little bit higher, that's absolutely fine. Focus on that breathing. If you can, just tip the toes teeny little bit further towards that forehead. Should help you feel the stretch just a little bit more. Holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lifting yourself back up onto those hands, feet come together, and just a little bit of a wobble through that groin stretch again to shake out the stretches that we've just been doing. Once you're ready, just bringing the legs up in front of you, hovering, bringing the arms up as well and coming into a little bit of a boat hold. And then slowly just bringing yourself down, millimetre at a time, until you're in your floor resting position. Grab yourself a cushion, get yourself nice and comfy, and make sure that that band or tie is nearby as well. Now, once you reach this position, first thing I want you to do is just to take the feet flat to the floor, knees bent, and just push that back down into the floor underneath you. Think about how the back is feeling, how those legs are feeling after a little bit of stretching. And the first thing we're going to do is just take that right foot and cross it onto the left thigh, reaching through the gap in between, slowly bringing it in towards the chest as we come into our reclined pigeon. Another nice stretch for those glutes. If you'd like to, feel free to extend the left leg up as well. But if you're more comfortable keeping it bent, then that's absolutely fine. Try and keep the neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. Don't lift up towards the leg. Pull the leg back towards you. Again, keeping that breathing nice and deep in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. If you wish, maybe using the right hand to just apply a little bit of pressure to the right knee, pushing it away from you a teeny little bit to feel the stretch a little bit more intensely. And if you haven't already, I invite you to close down those eyes as we move through this final section of today's stretch. When you're ready, bringing the left foot back to the floor, uncross the right leg, hook it into your strap and kick it up above you. We're just using that strap now with a light bend in the right knee to slowly stretch through the back of that hamstring once again. Lower the left leg down towards the floor if you'd like this to be a little bit harder, or keep the left foot on the floor with the knee bent if you would like. Again, don't lift the head up towards the leg. Pull the leg back towards you. Now I want you to think about pushing into your band. This is just going to release the hamstring for a minute and activate the quad. As you inhale and as you exhale, think about pulling once again. You should just get a little bit more motion for free. Great work, well done. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly unwrapping that foot for me, bringing both legs flat to the floor and just giving them a little bit of a wobble, and then resetting yourself with those feet flat to the floor and knees bent once again. This time, crossing the left foot onto the right leg through the gap and coming into our reclined pigeon on the left-hand side this time. Exactly the same as last time. If you wish to extend that right leg up, then please feel free to do so. Equally, if you're more comfortable in the bent position today, then that's absolutely fine. Nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Keep that neck nice and soft, bringing the leg back towards you, not the head towards the leg. And if you wish, just using the left hand to apply a little bit of pressure to that left knee. Holding here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering that right foot towards the floor, extending the left leg into that band, kicking it up, and just starting to use that band to help you come into an active hamstring stretch. Again, right leg can either be lowered for more difficulty or bent depending on where you wish to be today. With each exhale, just try to lever a tiny bit more towards you. And on your next inhale, I want you to change the focus to pushing the band away from you instead, pushing through that quad. And as you exhale, release the quad, come back into the hamstring stretch, and you should get a little bit more for free. Well done, G. Great work, Emily. Holding here for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and one. Carefully and slowly unwrapping that left foot, bringing both legs down to the floor and just giving them a little bit of a shake out. Bring the soles of the feet together and just allow the knees in butterfly position to just flop out to the side as a nice little counter stretch for us. We're just going to spend the final few moments of today's class taking some time for ourselves. So find yourself with your eyes closed, where that comfortable position might be. Maybe it is in this butterfly position, perhaps it's feet flat and knees bent, or perhaps it's legs flat to the floor, wherever you feel most comfortable. And just as we did at the beginning of the class, moving the focus now back towards our breathing, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And I'm just going to leave you here for around a minute, and I'll come back and let you know when it's time to finish today's session. If you'd like to stay here for a little while longer, then please feel free to. If you're ready to finish off today's class, then just slowly rolling yourself over onto your side, keeping those eyes closed and using the hands to push you up into a cross-legged position for me. Keeping the eyes closed again, just bring the hands slowly down onto the knees. Just going to finish off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, lifting the shoulders all the way up to the ears. And as we breathe out, rolling the shoulders down and back together as we exhale. Just 2 more of those for me. In and up. Out and down. And 1 more. In and up. And out and down. Bringing the hands to cover the eyes. Slowly blinking the eyes back open. And once you're ready, just carefully removing the hands and allowing that light back in. Well done, team. I'm coming on over. We didn't get interrupted by the dog. I don't know if I'm sad or happy about that. Well done, guys. I hope you enjoyed this evening's class and that you're feeling a little bit more zen and ready for the week ahead. I hope that you've got some nice plans to round off your Sunday evening, maybe a roast, who knows. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's class. If you've got any questions, as always, please feel free to drop me a message. I'll be uploading this one into True Coach later this evening. So if you'd like to redo it at any time this week, then it will be there for you. I will leave you to the rest of your evening, but if you've got any questions, I'll stay on now to chat to you. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.